What are we doing here, hon?
It is a beautiful, beautiful morning here in Victoria. Birds are chirping. It's nice and early. And yeah, this is actually our last garden tour for Clive's Conundrum garden for the foreseeable future, for sure.
Yeah, we have some really exciting things that are happening, big changes for us personally, and we will definitely be sharing those details as we know what they are. Things are in flux. But today what we wanted to do was show you the garden and show you what it was like a few years ago when we started helping Clive and the boys with the yard. And so we'll just do a little comparison.
That's right. That's right. A little bit exciting, a little bit sad, but yeah, we're just stoked. So, yeah, let's get going.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay, so we're standing here at our hugelkultur beds. Don't know if I said that right or not, but that's okay. So yeah, this looks a little blank right now, but that's okay. We have some big plans for this bed, even in our absence. So yeah, basically we got the peas growing here, and we're gonna do a couple things today with this bed that we're pretty stoked about. Now, these beds are 2 years old. When we originally started a couple of years ago, there was just the 3 beds down in the bottom of the garden. Everything else we kind of built, and we built very, very cheaply, if not for free. So we're pretty stoked about that. Okay, pretty proud of this bed. This is again another hugelkultur bed. This is the one that we did the cover crop of hairy vetch on. And it now contains our awesome garlic. Now, we're not going to be here for the harvest, most likely. So what I thought I'd do is maybe do a little preemptive harvest and just show you guys what it's looking like under the ground, because I've never seen it before harvest this time of year. So I pre-dug this hole, and we got a nice one here. See, the roots are pretty darn nice. So what I should have done is been a little more ready. I'm just gonna shake this stuff off. We'll see what we got. Okay. So there's our adorable little garlic. Someone much smarter than me can tell you what stage this is at, but you can tell it hasn't started to split or really anything. So
Interesting.
we're quickly going to get him back in the ground and then go to our next bed.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, another super favorite bed. This is our wildflower bed. We really let this thing go this year. You can see the sunflower from last year is still standing. There's a ton of weeds in here. That's fine. That's fine. It's going to be a true wildflower garden this year. We got some lupins, a bunch of things I don't know the names of, and then quite a few weeds, but it'll be really cool to maybe get some update shots on what this thing looks like midsummer. So yeah, stoked. Okay, so this is where our beans grew last year, cucumbers and climbing squash, beans. We built these trellises a couple years ago, just fantastic. And these are our volunteer fava broad beans that were up in the top bed, and then we just transplanted, and they look like they're doing good. Again, so we got some interesting plans for this bed in our absence. So, okay, we're just down at our 2 original beds when we started the garden. You can see the peas are really doing awesome. Kale's doing really well. This ginormous monstrosity, we're just leaving it. It's looking good. And we got more peas over here. We actually have raspberries over here. We moved them from our berry patch. We put them here. A bunch of leeks that are going to go to flower this year, we hope, and some other just random stuff. Everything's looking super good. And again, we got some more plans for these beds in the future. So, all right, so these are the potatoes in our buckets here, all grown in our compost. No amendments added whatsoever, just our sweet compost. And standing in front of the Terry King carrot bed, all the carrots have come up, which is great. And we actually aren't growing parsnips this year because we transplanted our white currant into the old parsnip bed for easy access. So it's looking really good. We had a little potato experiment going here where we started with large potatoes, tiny potatoes, and mid-sized potatoes. And as you can see, the larger potatoes have bigger foliage, which kind of makes sense. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the yields are later this summer. So yeah, they're doing awesome. Okay, and last but not least, this is kind of our nursery area. All these plants here, we grew from seed under our grow lights. They did really good, with the exception of a few that I actually cooked, as many of you know. But that's okay. That's okay. We got some kale, some leeks, some scallions, some sunflowers, and then up here is just our lettuce patch for the boys. And as many of you guys have seen, the compost trial with the 4-month-old compost, which is this guy right here, and the 8-month-old compost, which is this one right here. This one we have been picking and eating. So you can see this one, now that's in the soil, is actually getting some green leaf. So it's a really cool demonstration of how compost interacts with soil and how much age matters. So yeah, this last row here, you'll notice a big change from last year. We have strawberries, blueberries, interplanted with onions, and yeah, it's all part of a plan for the future of this garden. So awesome. Now we're gonna go and do a quick tour of the flower gardens.
We're going to start our flower garden tour with the patio garden. This garden has experienced a lot of change, still limited by the roots from the cedar trees that come through, so you have to think very carefully about what you do plant here. But we do have some things that are coming back and look absolutely lovely, but we do want to show you what it looked like before we started. We're splitting up the left-hand garden into 2 parts. This is the first part here that's next to the patio. And when we first started here, I think, if memory serves, it was just the Mexican orange shrubbery. So there was nothing but shrubs here. We didn't even remember, Clive didn't even remember that the eucalyptus tree was here. It's grown quite a bit since we first started working over here. And it's looking great. There's some dahlias and some other really interesting flowers happening here. It'll look great this summer. It looked great last summer. And this is the second half of the left-hand bed, which is looking beautiful right now. We've moved everything that I think needs to be moved, and it's gonna look gorgeous later. When we started, this area, and actually the whole perimeter here, was covered in ivy. Jason spent a week rolling up large mats of ivy in order to reveal the soil that was here. And then we also took out some of the bushes that were here, and now it's filled with beautiful flowers, including a peony that's actually gonna bloom, and also my oriental poppy that I love. It's red. Hobbit hole, shaped the tree in a funny way, put funny little things in here. It's just a weird little thing, and there is a gnome that needs to be reset in here, but it's just a weird, funny place in the garden. It makes me laugh.
Awesome. We
are now over here in the, I don't know what to call it, wildflower berry patch. This is an excellent example of what happens when you don't follow the no-dig principle of preparing a bed. We didn't put cardboard down, we just took out the blackberry bushes that were here and whatever shrubbery was here. We didn't prepare this properly, and now this is one of the weediest areas of the yard. There's a good hour of work that we need to do here. If we had only done that, this would have been an excellent place for the flowers and the berries. But now there's blackberries coming up, the strawberries are wild. At least the rose that I transplanted from our house is living. And I can't forget this beautiful comfrey plant. Thank you, Andrea. Andrea's channel is Gardening for Health.
Digging.
I can't forget this beautiful comfrey plant from Andrea. She sent us a root, and this is what has grown from the root in just 2 years. Andrea, those roots are fantastic. Thank you so much. Andrea's channel is Digging for Health if you want to check her out.
And it's only been 1 year.
Right. I'm standing here in the back garden, which is actually a shade garden, and also another place that Jason had to clean all the ivy out of. We've also done a really good job of trying to trim up all of the trees so that we have space to put things. Now, this has just been kind of a catch-all area. If we have some sort of plant that we're like, nah, I don't know what to do with it, we throw it back here, and if it survives, that's great. It does actually look pretty good back here, and there's some interesting shade plants that are thriving, and some that are supposed to just thrive in the sun, but I think it looks great. I'm standing next to one of the most special shrubs in the garden. It's a viburnum. It's called a sweet snowbell, and it was one of Deb's favorite shrubs. And right now it looks beautiful. It's blooming perfectly, and it smells so sweet. It's such a great plant. If you can get one for yourself, it's totally worth it. This one grows basically in the shade underneath the ridiculous tree that's here, sucking all the nutrients away from it, but it doesn't care, and it looks beautiful, and we love it. I'm over here on the right-hand garden, another area that was a little bit overrun. Last summer, it looked so beautiful when you were sitting on the patio. It had this lovely English garden feel of soft flowers, just really beautiful. And we've done a good job, I think, of setting it up for this year. We still have a few favorites in here that are going to be coming up, including a dahlia. Jason's favorite plants are growing very happily and healthy here, and they are called
Solomon seal.
Solomon seal. And of course, we can't forget the new addition, which is the birdhouse flower hanger that my husband hung up for me. I'm standing here at Bill and Val's Plot of Heaven tomato cage area. We offered to take this down for Clive, and he said no, leave it. He might do something with it, maybe even grow tomatoes over here this year. So this is a bit of an unknown, but Jason built this last year, and we grew just beautiful tomatoes over here. They were absolutely delicious. This bed was originally known as the artichoke garden because the only thing growing over here was this artichoke, and it has never looked more beautiful and more healthy than it does right now. In this garden, which only gets sun here in the morning, this is the garage garden, we got this clematis that you don't ever have to trim, so it's just continuing to grow, and maybe it'll just grow up to the roof. I don't know what's going to happen, but we have done a good job of clearing this out. I'm trying to convince Clive, actually, that he needs to make his garage bigger so he can have more room for his cars. We'll see what happens over here. In this bed, which is our newest-ish bed, we have a couple apple trees that we're trying to grow using a method where you keep them more as shrubs than trees. I don't know that we're going to get any apples this year, but maybe next year there will be some apples on these trees. They did get chewed by some deer this year, but they're not dead.
Ta-da!
We hope you enjoyed that little trip down memory lane. We are inordinately proud of how much this garden has changed over the last few years since Clive has allowed us to kind of do whatever we want back here. I hope you enjoyed looking at how just some no-dig efforts can really make a big difference in a garden. And if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them in the comments. We're thinking that if we get a lot of questions, we can just do a little Q&A and answer your questions as best as we can. Again, we're a little bit unsure about what things are going to happen. We do have a short-term plan, but the longer-term plans are a little bit hazy, but that's okay.
Yep.
But if you have questions about the garden specifically and what's going to happen, we'd be happy to answer those. So go ahead. If you have any questions, you can put them down below. Would you like to say anything else?
Yeah. I just want to thank a lot of people. I started 2 years ago, and I didn't even like it. I definitely didn't like YouTube. But it's been life-changing for sure. And to be able to spend as much time as we were able to spend together in the garden and doing something that I love to do has been awesome. And we've just learned so much from the comments, and just really want to thank you guys for that. I've got a long way to go in learning about gardening and compost and all that kind of good stuff, but it's just been awesome. The comments, the support, yeah, just awesome. The other people I really want to thank, and I don't know if they'll watch this, but is Clive and the boys. We haven't talked a lot about what's happened in the last 3-4 years with our family, just because we don't. But they're just phenomenal. And for us to be able to come over here and kind of relieve stress in that time period and just to be with them has just been, I'm just so grateful for all that. So
Me too.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys. We love you. And yeah, my hands aren't dirty at all.
It's time to get dirty.
Yeah, I need a coffee, and you all stay awesome.
Stay awesome.
We'll keep a few videos coming, and we'll try to keep you guys updated, and we'll do our best to watch a few videos here and there. And
Yes.
yeah, but chalk's up.
Chalk's up.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Stay awesome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.